Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. I'm Nick Perro, not your dad. This is Sick of This Shit Publications, and we're here for today's, I believe, 21st interview of Intelligent Masculinity with someone you probably all know or have all seen, but I'm going to get him to introduce himself here real quick at the top of this show. Is Wajahat Ali of The Left Hook has joined us for our intelligent masculinity discussion today. Hey, Waj, how are
Hey,
you? Just
I'm
listening in on you on the Blue Amp live-a-thon, and it was fun to listen in. So I want to keep just you're in a good spot today, I think.
I am first of all disappointed that you're not my dad. So I was like, "Daddy," and then you're like, "Not my dad." I'm wearing a collared shirt for you and Blue Amp, and I also like. I'm gonna go ahead and say that is a Pakistani white American biracial child flying on top of your head.
Heck
Uh,
yeah, it is.
yes, yes, that's right. It's the future of America. But no, honored that you'd invite me, and the fact that you've done 21 of these is fantastic. And I think in the world of Keksets and Donald Trump and Elon Musk, all these broken men, and it's so clear, right, Nick? I'm sure we're going to talk about it. These men are clearly broken. These men,
Yes.
these cosplay crusaders, these men who are LARPing as some sort of He-Man, they're weak, they're broken, they're insecure. Case in point, last week, Pete Hegseth banned these photographers for the Department of Defense because he didn't like a photo. He thought it was unflattering. Apparently, they took a photo of him from behind. He didn't look like the way his ass looked. They're so weak, so fragile. The anti-cancel culture people are perfectly fine canceling anyone else. He's taking photos of himself, barely doing pull-ups with the Navy SEAL, right? I just wonder if these men, if you could do a do-over in time, if these men simply had like good daddies. And if you really think about it, Nick, I'm sure you've talked about it with your guests, it all goes back to, for most of them, not all, but most of them, daddy issues. Joe Rogan, daddy issues. Tony Hinchcliffe, daddy issues. Elon Musk, daddy issues. Peter Thiel, daddy issues. Donald Trump, his dad was a psychopath. And now the world burns.
Yes, we haven't put it in those words specifically of daddy issues, but it does come down to that a lot. And I think the trope that there's a stereotype that comes to mind when that I grew up with, and it's really racist and it's really it's a self-effacing stereotype, is the black families have no dads.
Yeah.
um, and what it always is it comes from white families with broken relationships and broken parents who never took the time to treat their partner with respect afterwards, and show a good model of a breakup or a good example of what it's still meant to be in your life. And these people didn't have dads. You're right. They didn't have dads the way that we had dads, or the way that we had male figures or masculine figures in their life. And we embraced the feminine figures in our life and the femininity where because they're broken, they reject it.
Yep.
And now we see a cosplay masked masculinity that just sucks. And as I like to say, hold on, just suck less.
Yeah.
There's a 32-ounce water bottle from Sick of the Shit Publications that says just suck less, because that's really what we're asking a lot of these men to do, is just fucking suck less and just be slightly better. I'll swear a little bit. I know you don't really swear. I'll try and keep myself. I know you're a little bit more
Say,
eloquent.
be yourself.
You
Do what you got to do. I'm fasting, so you're not.
Yeah, I'm sorry. This is water. I apologize. I will make
Don't
sure.
apologize. It is funny. The funny thing is like so many people who are like kind of like aware and empathetic like yourself. Thank you. They're like, oh no, Muslims are fasting. I drank water for them. I'm sorry. Let me hide it. And meanwhile, we're like, whatever, bro. It's fine. Just we don't care.
Yeah, that was.
We're in our
I
little high
appreciate
right
that.
now, just imagining what we're gonna eat later. Just don't worry. It's all good.
Just sitting there, man. I'm hungry. This is gonna be good. This is gonna be good.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Thanks, Wash.
No, yeah,
You're awesome.
and also swear away. I mean, the thing is, these people are so terrible, man. Like, if you look at the intelligent masculinity, I think it's a very, I mean, it's very important. Me and Pete Dominic tried to, do our version of it once or twice, and each time we talk about it, and especially if you have dads, middle-aged dads speaking about this issue, the people who are really appreciative our fellow men because they're like, oh, there's a space to talk about this. No one's going to call you gay, or you're not going to be seen as a pussy or like a woman. These are just the words, folks. I'm not trying to offend people. I'm just keeping it real. That's like how it is. It's like everything is gay. You hug your kid, gay. You loved your pet, gay. You talked about your feelings, gay. And gay.
Thanks, buddy.
And being a woman, pussy is all seen as, oh, I just swore as there was a kid there. Amazing.
No, he can't hear you. Don't worry.
Oh,
I've got headphones on. I've got 3 sick kids at home today.
I get it, man. I got 6
2
kids.
of them are mine. 1 is not. And so you'll hear Uncle Nick a lot during the episode.
I'm the same here. School got off early, so all the neighborhood kids are here to my left if you hear chaos. But everything that is seen as being like, emotional, intelligent, self-aware is seen as effeminate or weak. And those are the synonyms. And I don't know if you saw this psychopath, this other billionaire broligarch piece of crap, Marc Andreessen. Did you say what he said yesterday? I don't do self-reflection.
Oh, I did hear about that. Like, what a fucking idiot. Like, how do you not self-reflect on anything? How can you be non-self-reflect? Like, one of my questions that I'm going to ask you today is, what do you do to self-reflect and self-evaluate? Because that's a huge part of being an intelligent human being just in general. This is a Better Humaning series, but it's also really about men, because men who look like me, not quite like me, because I'm kind of Middle Eastern-ish looking. I've got the nice curly beard. I have a giant Star David on my forearm for a reason. I can trace my family's lineage back to Israel, and the tribes that were there, the Hebrew tribes, we can trace our lineage back. I'm Jewish. Waj is Muslim, and we are here to celebrate the fact that this war fucking sucks, and other shit like that is started by white nationalists who want to start a holy war to kill all of us. Yes.
I mean, literally, look at these people. I think
no, you cannot have my Legos. You cannot have my Legos, nerd. No, sir.
I've done the same thing, Nick. Some of the I have a Lego batch there that is for the children. So there's anticipated chaos, right? So we put Legos in my son's room, and then the Legos that are not to be touched are placed like yours up in a pedestal. And one kid came, I felt kind of bad, but he was messing around with this, and I'm like, bro, no, just no. And then I redirected him to the other room. Then I felt kind of bad, but I'm like, I don't know. There was a lot of effort and cost a lot of money. You understand?
Oh yeah, I had the Eiffel Tower, and it fell over because my dogs fought next to it, and one of them knocked one of the legs out, and the entire tower fell over. And that's 10,001 pieces of a Lego set.
How broken were you? How broken was your spirit? For how long?
Watch, I had LED lights in it.
Oh.
It lit up like it could do a whole light show. And now it's just shattered. It took me and my son. So my son and I build Legos together. Just an example of Legos. My microphone stand is built out of Legos because I didn't want to spend any money, and I have thousands and thousands and thousands of Legos at my house. I keep 2 big boxes of Legos on my floor in the office just for the chance when children come in, I can be like, those are for you. You play with those ones. Leave my big good ones alone.
Elite dad move. Well done. Game recognizes game. I do the same. I have a big old box. I'm like, children, do whatever you want with these. Enjoy. Go to town. But
if you can play with the dinosaur.
If it is on the pedestal, I felt kind of bad. I'm like, I've become that dude. I just said no to a child for a Lego set. And I thought about it for 3 seconds. I'm like, it was worth it. I made the right decision.
It was worth it.
Yeah, because I remember it was during the COVID, and I got into Lego sets during COVID. I'd never made one before, and my son got this 900-piece
with all the Legos
Ninjago dragon, and he comes up to me, he goes, "Baba, make this." I'm like, oh my god! So I make it. I find it to be really soothing. Then he got the Millennium Falcon. So their grandfather gave him the smaller version of the Millennium Falcon, the one that's kind of this big.
Yeah,
I spent so much time making it. I was so happy. My kids came up to me, said, "Baba, look at this." And then both of them just threw it on the ground. And I was like,
your heart goes
I'm like, why? And then
slow motion trying to catch you, diving. No.
Dude, that was hilarious. But then they saw how broken I was, and we're sorry, Baba. We thought it would be funny. And they never did it again. They were 4 or 3 at the time. And they're like, wow, this really broke our father. we have learned his weakness and not to
We
exploit
know
it.
what to do. If he's ever evil, take the Millennium Falcon behind him and just drop it.
That would
Drop it.
honestly, if that, I've always thought if I'm on like, suppose I'm with Nick and I was like, what happens if for whatever reason a cat jumps up and as I'm doing a live, the Millennium Falcon just falls right behind me and I'm have to go live and I'm talking. I think you could see my soul. It's like that scene from The Simpsons where I don't know if you saw the hilarious episode where Ralph Wiggums has a crush on Lisa. And then Bart records it and goes, "This is where you can see his heart cracking." And he does it, rewinds and does it in slow motion. Like you can see in real time my heart crack if that ever happens.
Just death. Waj would fall over crying on the screen.
Yeah,
I
like
would.
the first
I
time
would
I ever
fall.
cried, my wife's like, "It took that to make you cry?" Wow.
Of course. Don't speak that into existence.
Yeah,
Hopefully
no.
you don't have any cats that are in the office right now.
No, they're they're outside. Thank God.
Good.
Good. Is your spouse? My wife is like the opposite of me, which is why I married her for all the good ways. She's very empathetic. She cries like 6 times a day. She cries listening to other people. She's a family med doctor. She wants to help people. She cries when watching Grey's Anatomy. She cried one time when seeing a butterfly. I'm like, "Why the hell are you crying?" She goes, "It's so beautiful." And then she goes, "What's wrong with you? You're a freak. I've never seen you cry." And then I said, "My farts are my tears." And she goes, then she goes, "Wow, you must weep a lot." So, even as we're talking about intelligent masculinity, it is interesting as if self-reflection goes. Even as I talk about it, and even as I extol people who do it, and even as I tell people to be empathetic, I'm of that age, Nick. I'm 45. My age and older of men, there's a generation. We're just built in a certain way, which is not the healthiest. We were manufactured in a way where you just suffer quietly. You keep everything inside. You don't whine. You don't complain. You work hard, and then you die.
Yes. So I'm 36. I'm a mid-older millennial or mid-millennial, I guess. And
you're reformed. You're an upgrade.
Yeah, I guess I'd be a slight upgrade because I'm an upgrade from my brother. Sorry, brother of mine. One or two brothers of mine. I'll be your upgrade. I was the third child, so like I had a very different experience with my parents than I think either of my brothers did. One is a little over 50 now, and the other is 2 years older. So like I have an age range that I got to experience all of that. So I think too, like this whole like embracing masculinity, and like I learned that it was okay to cry. I learned that it was okay to talk and express your emotions. And then while I was getting older, everything around me told me the opposite. Was like, don't do this, don't do that. Here's the emotions you can feel. Here's what you should be feeling. Here's how you should be expressing yourself. And so I closed off some of the learning that I had because I went to college. I was young. I was dumb. I joined a fraternity, and that's an experience in unto itself. The amount of racism and anti-Semitism that are in fraternity and the fraternity life in college is wow. And homophobia and just misogyny is through the fucking roof, like the worst. But it taught me a lot. It taught me a lot. It taught me a lot about about like relearning to empathize with myself and express myself. And so I've gotten many years of experience since those days. And now I'm reflecting on it. Now I've built this series because I wanted to reflect on what I've learned and be able to grow. But I also realized there's a huge ass void in the space of men talking, and it's filled with idiots like Joe Rogan. It's filled with Nick Fuentes. It's filled with Andrew Tate and whatever the fuck all their other
Nico, all these
Theo Vaughn and weird all these weird people.
Nico, Nick Fuentes, Andrew Tate, just these losers. They're all losers, man.
Yeah, they're all losers. They all suck. We've got like people who would probably think that they're trying to make Stephen Miller look cool. Like that's the type of grossness that they're literally trying to make a human penis look like a person and look cool, because that's all Stephen Miller is. He's a walking uncircumcised penis that just pulls his head out of his hood and comes out of nowhere and goes, "Yeah, I suck, fuck you," and that's it. That's Stephen Miller. And that's who he is. And we're fighting back against that. And I was like, well, we can't have a void in the talk. So intelligent masculinity, that's why we're here. And so I've been getting to ask a ton of men like Pete Dominic, like Qasim Rashid, like Bobby Jones, Marlon Weems, yourself, Sherrod Swaney, all of the folks in my community. You get to add now to this conversation. We've got Evan Fields in the chat, who is one of our friends who's done this, and you get to add to this chat. And so I wanted
I
to.
didn't realize there was a chat. That's great.
Oh yeah, I sent you a link to in the private chat, in our private chat here. You can follow
that's
along
great.
with the Substack chat. Our community is huge and great. We've got over 500 people with us right now listening in on this conversation. If you're hearing background noises, it's probably from me and not from Waj. I've got 3 kids homesick. I've got Disney music playing in the background to try and entertain the child that is behind me, who should be in the other room. And so, but we're here to talk about intelligent masculinity, and that's kind of part of it, is being part of your family. And so let's get into some of our questions. I've got 5 broad questions for you. Some of them have some subsections into them. And oh yeah, we could talk about Legos all day. Waj, did I show you my recent, before we get into the questions, did I show you Gizmo?
Gizmo, well done, sir. Well done. And I think you've inspired me to go buy one after I saw it.
You should actually buy 2, because he comes with either sitting or you can have him standing. But you have to rebuild him a little bit to have him standing. So it's almost worth having 2 of him so that you can have the sitting Gizmo and the standing Gizmo. But if you get them wet, that's on you, and don't feed them after midnight. So before we get into the real questions, I'm assuming you know Gremlins and you've watched the movie, or at least you know about it. What is the time frame after midnight that we can start feeding them again? Because don't they get hungry?
You don't want to think too much about the rules, because the rules themselves make no sense. All you know is that Gizmo, poor guy, no matter what he does, he's going to get effed. And the second thing I'll say is Gremlins 2, which is a movie that not that many people have seen, is
God, love it.
It is wild. Check out Gremlins 2 if you want to see just a wild Hollywood movie that they'll never make again, which is just super satirical. And I think Joe Dante was like, they're never going to give me a budget to make this movie again. And the Gremlins 2, the new batch, I used to watch Gremlins when I was a kid 1,000 times. So I used to love it. I was 8 years old. I loved Gizmo, just like Nick. I had my Gizmo doll. But when I was older,
Gizmo, he's a no touch.
Older, and I saw Gremlins 2, I'm like, man, this movie is so insane. It's like hype people made this movie, but it's deeply.
They were so stoned when they made that movie.
I tried to show my kids Gremlins, like, this is lame. I'm like, all right, fine. But my kids like Jaws, so here are my children in the 21st century watching Jaws. They were wrapped with attention, man. And the Jaws, I thought, let's see, maybe they're so used to CGI. But every time Jaws popped out, they were like, my daughters were terrified. So I was like, good filmmaking holds the test of time, man.
It does. It does. There's some great films out there. Okay, let's get on to the real questions, because we could go down rabbit holes all day. We tend to ramble and we tend to sidetrack ourselves, if you couldn't tell by our Lego conversation. Waj and I could probably talk all day about Legos, if not for just endless hours. I would do a stream just building Legos.
You'll probably get more money, bro.
I probably would. I would probably make more money on YouTube just building Legos.
People literally do that. People, anyone who's watching, there's grown-ass men for 4 hours, literally brick by brick build Legos. Thousands of people tune in and they get money.
Yeah. But they don't say anything. The least they could do is say useful things while they're doing it too. They could talk about intelligent masculinity.
Let me tell you about Stephen Miller and why he's a Shrone scrotum. let me tell you how these people are cosplay crusaders and weak men. I know, I'm a veteran. Here's Gizmo.
We would make so much. I might start doing that. New project idea, new ADHD rabbit hole I could go down, and you guys would all lose me, and that would be unfortunate. But we're going to stick with what we're talking about right now, which is our intelligent masculinity discussion. And we're going to get into our actual questions for today. So like I was introducing to Waj and all of you in the audience, if you haven't been here before, welcome. This is Sick of This Shit Publications. I'm Nick Parrow, not your dad. And we're joined by Wajahat Ali for intelligent masculinity. And we've got 5 big questions. The first 4 are more serious questions. The final question is 4 parts, and it's actually the Mulan theme song of I'll Make a Man Out of You. It's the chorus lines broken down into 4 questions because I was a choir kid in high school. I was actually dared to join the choir, and then I went into a music theory and composition degree for college. So that dare went a long way. Cost me a lot of money in the end, and I write music out of it, so that's cool. But we grew up on "I'll Make a Man Out of You" as the clarion call of action for men. It was the "I'll Make a Man Out of You," or it's the "Let's Go Girls" for men. And so it's back, and I'm going to bring it back. So we're going to have a great conversation that we've already been having. Everyone in the audience, smash the heart, subscribe to both of us, subscribe to Waj, because he's fucking awesome. And there's so many people I want to get Waj to talk to on candidate levels and things like that. But this conversation is about Waj today and where he's come from and what he's learned and how he's become who he is. And so, Waj, let's ask our first question here is, this is a 2-part question, and these can be for positive or negative. It can be any person. It does not have to be an immediate family member. We've had Qasim use the Prophet Muhammad as his example. Bobby Jones used coaches. Marlon Weems used his father and his uncles. But so we've had a range. And so, who has been one of the most influential masculine figures in your life?
I would say, realistically, I thought about this. I'm an only child, so no brothers. I went to an all-boys Jesuit Catholic high school. And then
How'd that work out?
Yeah, it was good. It was fun, and then I went to college and we hung out with a bunch of dudes. So a lot of dudes in my life, and then thankfully, women started entering my life in a very positive way. College and beyond, like, especially in my 20s, like a lot of my close friends became women, which was great. It helped me become a better person, right? So much of my formative childhood was just around dudes, bros, men. But I was lucky that my 2, I would say the first 2 that came to mind, I have to stick with it, is I'm a Muslim, like Qasim, so I'm practicing Muslim, and so you follow something called the Sunnah, and so it's the footsteps and the behavior and what we know of the behavior and the action of the Prophet Muhammad. And now it's not like you're a robot. You have, you do what you do, you learn what you learn. I also learned about Jesus, right? I also learned about Moses. I also learned about Abraham. There are these kind of religious values. And what's interesting, though, about masculinity is, there's so many misconceptions, especially in the post war on terror, about Muslims and Islam, right? Al-Qaeda and ISIS. That's nonsense. That is a single-digit percentage minority that does not represent the overwhelming majority of Muslims. So for me, what I was, taught growing up is Prophet Muhammad, never struck his children ever. Never struck his wife ever. Didn't raise his voice. Never yelled. Never screamed. Right. This is important because you think about masculinity as it is portrayed in America, the Pete Kexets and the Donald Trump. Right. It's all about triumph. It's a zero-sum game of domination. Right. Whoever yells, whoever has the better tattoos, better missiles, bigger muscles. Look at Kash Patel, this weak, broken man who last week, folks, really said, I'm going to have the UFC train our soldiers, right? It's all cosplay, right? And so what masculinity was, and what is taught, the Islamic spiritual definition of masculinity, is a person who, my mother was raised in a Catholic orphanage in San Jose, says one of the people watching. The masculinity is who's honest. Masculinity is who works hard. Masculinity is who has good character. The person who is the best in character in adab is the one who's best in his religion, is the saying in Islam. Who treats his family well? Does your wife speak highly of you? Do your children love you? And speaking about the masculine model of the Prophet Muhammad, right? Showing affection towards kids, right? There's a hadith, a saying, or a tradition, a narration, even if it isn't authenticated, it has become type of folklore and it gets passed on from generation to generation, where the prophet was praying, right? And while he was praying, a cat comes, and a cat comes and kind of falls asleep on his shawl. And instead of waking up the cat, he just tears out that section of the shawl and allows the cat to keep sleeping. Does that make sense? Uh,
Mhm.
there's another saying that a drunken man comes in and pees in the mosque, and all these other Muslims, young Muslims at the time, are like, "We're gonna beat you up. The Prophet's here. How could you do it?" And the Prophet instead, says, "Listen, he's drunk." And instead of admonishing him and beating him up, right, they kind of like hide him from view, not to shame him, and then take him out. Why am I saying all this? Because you see a model of masculinity presented in a prophetic model for 1.7 billion Muslims. Now you compare it to how some Muslims and some individuals behave as traditional men, because there are Muslims who love their Andrew Nick, right? I was
Mhm.
the second model of masculinity. I had my dad. My dad, traditional in the way Muslim doesn't have a beard but never drank. We were teetotaler family, highly educated. Came here in 1966, and also very loving dad. I think my dad is much more loving and kissing than even my mom. So like I grew up with like even to this day, like my dad comes publicly, these big wet kisses on my cheek, and I always go like I have this. I'm a grown man. I still do this. Uh, and my mom is also very loving. The hug and squeeze. I was very lucky, growing up in my family. They just came and hugged and squeezed and kissed all the time. And I remember when I used to, when I stayed with my parents, right? Every night, my dad, because he used to get up to pee, middle-aged man. Now I understand, but he every single day he would get up every day. Even now, when I go back and visit them, still now to this, I'm a 45-year-old man. He just comes up and checks. He comes up and checks like the what do you call it, the covers. I'm like, what? I'm like, dude, I'm sleeping. He goes, okay, just checking. So but at the same time, masculine also, like, married to my mom. They've been married together 48 years as of last week. So I would say I was very lucky in that the model of masculinity that I had growing up. Last thing I'll say, my dad stays at home. My mom's a social butterfly, always has been. In many traditional relationships, as you've seen, I wouldn't say traditional, but relationships, a lot of it is the problems come from male insecurity. So quick thing, Nick, if you have my mom's also tip top, dresses well. She's just naturally always kind of in shape, goes to a lot of parties, right? My dad never ever said, "Where were you?" My dad never said, "You better be back at 9." My dad never said, "I saw you laughing with a man." My dad never said, "You took $14 out of the ATM." My dad's the exact opposite. He goes, "Go, have fun, wonderful. Did you have a good time?" My mom used to come home.
Mhm.
She says, "You bought me a nice gift." My dad's like, "What did I buy you?" "This shawl." He goes, "Great." So seeing that, kind of rubbed off on me because my dad was never insecure. He's like a very secure, confident dude. And my mom to this day always says, "I really respect your father," because now I know, because I talk to other women, their men are like they're penny pinched. They look over the funding. They're very insecure with them talking to other men. They're like, "Where did you go?" I never had that, and I feel like that to me has helped my relationship because I always joke with Sarah, who's much better looking than me. She goes, "Don't you ever get jealous?" And I kind of joke and I go, "I'm too lazy to get jealous. It takes too much work." But then she goes,
It's too hard.
"It's just too hard, man. If you want to go, go. Like, what am I going to do at this age?" But I kid. But she's like, "The reason I married you is my other husband is very insecure. You're very secure. You let me do what I want. You give me my space." And I think I got that from my dad. And then when it comes to loving your kids, I got that also from my parents, but also from the prophetic model that being warm and kind and loving is actually being masculine. Your kids love you, your wife loves you, and more men respect you. I gave you a long answer. I hope that was useful.
No, I love long answers. This show is all about long answers, so ramble on because it's really important for us to get to the heart. I'm trying to use this series to get to the root of why men suck and why men are really good. And we've found a lot of really good examples of what it looks to be masculine and what it looks to exhibit masculinity that doesn't suck. Like why I got my water bottle, just suck less, is because it's easy to suck less. It's easy to take these examples that you've been given throughout life and roll with them and run with them and follow them. Hold on. Now I'm on child number 2. Oh, we'll have to put it together again. Okay.
Can you take my tablet to the...
I can take your tablet to get it fixed here soon. Don't worry. Like I said, 3 sick kids, all the sick
I get it,
kids.
man. I get it. This is the way it is.
This is real life.
But you know what? I
yeah.
have 25 minutes and I realize I just rambled. So, but I will get through your other 4 questions. But I got 20.
No, we always ramble. It's okay. All right. So second half of the question, because you've had really good masculine influences in your life, is what is the most important or influential feminine figure that you've had in your life?
You know, I'm an only child. I was born and raised in the Bay, and we had this old school blended family. My grandmother and grandfather stayed with me until they died. You know, I'm the only child. I always had cousins. I always had aunts. My house is like I always joked it was a halfway house for like Pakistanis. It's like random people came in and out. So the women around me were my mom and my grandmother, my aunt, my aunts, cousins. And then I used to go to Pakistan, and there's women there. It's very interesting. The women in my family, they're in a way traditional, but very modern in the sense that very educated, very outspoken, very smart. My mom's very well read. My mom watches Pulp Fiction and also reads the New Yorker, but also like, you know, praise. And so the type of femininity that I saw was traditional femininity in the sense that they could dress tip top, right? Traditional femininity, they could cook for like on the drop of a dime for like 60 people, but they also worked. So they worked, they could cook, they were outspoken, and like old school baller women, man. I'm like, how'd you guys pull it off? And they're like, that's just how we were trained. You know, we could look nice, clean up the house, cook for 60 people, go work, raise the kids. I'm like, baller. And even my wife says, like, dude, these women of that older generation, they're like oh, they don't make them anymore like that. So that's kind of the femininity that I kind of grew up with, is that they were traditionally feminine, yes, but at the same time, all smart, all opinionated.
I think we had some very similar examples of smart and opinionated and women who took leadership roles. And I think that's one of the big things that a lot of us have experienced and grown from. And I'm going to push back on there's comment in the chat, not because I think it's wrong, but because I think it maybe is misleading, is the women are smarter comment. I don't think necessarily that women are smarter. They're more controlled and more understanding of their surroundings. And I talked a little bit about it this morning, is almost naturally from early childhood, a lot of women tend to show a much better, or like a natural sense of restraint. And it's not something that they have to learn. It's something that's just natural to them. And a lot of men, the thing that men are really learning is restraint, either physical, an emotional, a intellectual level, but restraint in general. And so,
and also, guys, say, I think the reason why some people say, well, man, women are smarter, is because society gives women permission to be emotionally intelligent. Let me give you an example. Suppose we got to go get milk, right? We'll go to our local Safeway tonight. And so suppose you're in the aisle and you see a woman sobbing. And you're like, is everything okay, ma'am? She goes, oh, everything's fine. You know, I just had a bad day today. Thank you for asking. You know what'll happen? That's it. That'll happen. And women are kind of allowed to, you know, process their emotions and talk about it. And we kind of don't. I mean, yes, women get judged. Oh, you're so hysterical, you're emotional. But nonetheless, women are allowed to express this type of emotional intelligence. Can you imagine a man doing it? Like a man just sobbing. He's like, hey, bro, I just had a rough day at work. Most men, sadly, would be like, quit being a pussy. What's wrong with you? Man up. Even women would say that. And so what men do is we just keep it inside. We just keep it inside, right? And then it comes out in the worst ways possible. It comes out through toxic masculinity, where like, were you crying? Shut your mouth. I'm not gay. I wasn't crying. You're gay. You're crying. I'll make you cry. And so we kind of compensate in different unhealthy ways in a type of masculinity that was taught to us, in which you're stoic, you're Spartan, you never cry. That's for women. And you don't talk about being alone. You don't talk about being depressed, you know, and you work and you smile and then you die.
Oh, maybe not even smile. Maybe you just work and then you die. Like,
Yeah, don't smile too much.
smiling
Smile
optional.
too much, that's gay too.
Yeah, too happy and you're gay. Like that. Don't be that. Don't be happy. Gay literally translates to happy. So I mean, I'd much rather be called gay in the long run because
But
I'd
you
rather
see
be
what
happy.
you see what like a number it does on dudes. Don't show too much affection, gay. Don't smile too much, gay. Don't like emote, pussy. Don't hang out. Don't be too nice to your wife because then you're cucked. What type of man
Yeah.
you have to be? Be a tough guy. Be like Andrew Tate.
Be a Chad.
Be a Chad. And then, you know, people, I think you, me, others, a few of my friends who I think are in healthy, thank God, relationships. We always joke, we're like, we look at these dudes, and I've always seen these dudes, and I laugh. I'm like, you guys are freaks. But then because men and young men don't have these models and they're lost, they look at them, instead of laughing, they go, oh, this is how you get respect. And this is how you get respect from women. And this is, I think, something very important. Women don't realize how much power they have over men. And furthermore, I think we have to be honest about this. A majority of men are heterosexual, right? That's just how it is. I'm not making the rules.
Yeah.
Women are integral to men's creation of their masculinity. And so, like, the way, you know, a woman's value of a man, or how she evaluates a man, does a number on men, you know, to seek woman's praise, to seek woman's attention, right? And so much of this is not a woman's fault. It's men who, instead of learning the right lessons about why women don't like them, instead of looking inward, which I know is one of your questions, they blame women instead, right? Instead of saying, you know, what is it about me? Maybe, you know, why did that woman get repulsed by me when I came in her and like grabbed my crotch and said, "Hey, chick," and then Andrew Tate says, "You're not the problem. She's the problem. You need to dominate her." And we sit there and go, "Bro, take a Tic Tac, comb your hair, go up to her and ask her what book she's reading right now. Like, it'll help you." You know?
Yeah, like ask something easy, like just something you'd want. Ask her what her favorite dinosaur is, and she'd probably give you a great answer.
Like, dinosaur, you know, just be yourself.
No, Uncle Nick says no. You cannot go play outside.
I remember,
because you can't be alone by yourself.
I remember when it came to women, and why this is, I'm just being blunt. We should be honest about this conversation, because this is a lot of it is, I remember, you know, you're taught this, and so much of it is women and how to attract women, what women like. And I realized it was in college, Nick, where I decided, I think I was 19, maybe my end of sophomore year, junior year. And I was just like, you know, I've tried my whole life to kind of fit in and blend in. I was a brown kid, a Muslim kid, fat kid, left-handed kid. I'm just going to be myself. I'm going to be myself. I don't care if people like me. I don't care if I'm popular. I don't care if, like, I'm, you know, women look at me and pay attention. And I was working on myself spiritually. And I was like, let me just test myself and try to talk to women just for talking to women. Like, not to try to, you know, have them like me, you know what I'm saying? But just to be like, oh, that's an interesting human being. And you know what happened, which was wild? It was like the reversal happened. The reversal happened is the more calm and confident and chill I was, like the floodgates opened, man. Like,
people like you, and like,
I was
weird,
like,
right?
Happening. Like, it made no sense. It was like a complete jujitsu.
Yeah, it's so weird. It's like, it's almost like being nice and just being genuine and being yourself is what people want. It's almost like they don't want the mask. And I say that somewhat sarcastically, is nobody wants the fucking mask. Like, be yourself, dude. Like, it's so much better just to be yourself. And so as part of this, I've been putting down a thesis, or like a central idea of what intelligent masculinity actually means. And so I have a working definition, but I want to hear yours first so I don't bias you. Is if you were to put a definition down to it.
Give me your definition. I'll tell you.
Okay. So for me, intelligent masculinity is the refusal to outsource accountability onto others and the discipline to live with the consequences of your values and actions.
Wow, that's you went into a different direction. I didn't really articulate it, but that's really good. That's a lot of yours is based upon self-reflection and to taking accountability for your actions and your behavior, and essentially not blaming women or immigrants or Muslims
or trans people or kids, anybody other than yourself.
That I think that's a very intelligent aspect of masculinity. self-reflection, accountability, investing in self-growth. I would add another aspect of intelligent masculinity, and I think you're essentially touching upon it, is spending time knowing yourself. There's a great saying in Islam, and it's in most religious traditions, like know yourself and you'll know your creator, right? And this includes knowing the bad parts of yourself, the weak parts of yourself, the messy parts of yourself, right? And that requires radical honesty with yourself. And you say, okay, well, where am I good at? What am I bad at? What do I take pride in? Where can I get better? And I think it ties directly to your self reflection and accountability. Maybe it's not the women's fault. Maybe it's I'm doing something. Maybe it's not the immigrants' fault. Maybe I should work a bit harder, right? Maybe there's something inside me, something broken, or maybe I'm projecting something, or maybe there's an insecurity. And I think that's an intelligent aspect of masculinity, which is why it's so frightening that Marc Andreessen, one of the broligarchs, the supervillains, literally is now saying, "Yeah, I'm not into self-reflection." Another aspect of intelligent masculinity, and again, shows you the remarkable difference with Elon Musk and these other psychopaths, is they say empathy is a weakness. I think empathy is a strength. So, to be intelligent man is to be in tune with your feelings, in tune with your emotions, in tune with your spirit, being self-reflective, being empathetic, treating people, especially your loved ones, the way you want to be treated, and realizing that I would say being loving is a sign of strength. And then also I will say finally is for intelligent masculinity is realizing that the old models are antiquated. And when you are hurting, the intelligent man will realize this will have toxic consequences on my spouse and my children. So it is in my interest, and if I especially care about my wife and my kids, to work on myself, because if I'm effed up, I'm going to F up my wife and my kids.
Yeah, I love it. I love that. I love that definition and the focus on both yourself, but those around you and how your masculinity or your presence in general, but your humaning impacts those and the space that you take up and the awareness. And so trying to make sure we get to at least most of our questions. I'll skip our middle one is the how do you model intelligent masculinity? Because you've talked a lot about the ways that you model it already. And that's one of those that we always get a lot of filler in the beginning about how do you model masculinity without ever actually really defining it right away. But we talk, one of the big things for me is the self-reflection, like you've mentioned and like I've mentioned, and the ability to self-evaluate whether you've done right or wrong. Are you the good guy in somebody's story? Are you the bad guy in somebody's story? Are you neutral? Are you the main character? Are you a side character? Are you just a side quest that just happened to pop up and you're that random street urchin that's dressed all crazy and you hand out quests to other people? Like that could be you. You don't have to be the main character in how you evaluate those things in your day and your life. And so how do you intentionally self-evaluate and self-reflect throughout the day or as just in general, and a tool that maybe others could use in their learning and self-reflection? Because Marc Andreessen, you're wrong, self-reflection is important.
I perhaps ruminate too much. I go on the excess, so don't do what I'm doing. I also have obsessive compulsive disorder from my father, so it's kind of baked in. But one way I do it is I ask my wife without realizing. I think I ask her like once or twice a month for the past 14 years. I kind of just ask her, I'm like, hey, are you happy? She's like, what? Like, in our marriage, are you like happy and stuff? She goes, yeah. I'm like, really? She goes, yeah. I'm like, oh, okay. So I do these check-ins without realizing. Like my wife says, like you kind of do it like every 3 weeks. I do these check-ins without even consciously realizing I'm doing it every 2-3 weeks. And I also then ask her about the kids. So I say, like, am I a good dad? Are the kids happy? Do you think the kids like me? She goes, the kids love you. I'm like, really? You think I'm okay? She goes, yeah. So checking in with people that you trust to audit you is good. People that you trust because your own self-evaluation could be skewed. So that's one metric. Another one is like, dude, I overthink. So I go the opposite. So when people say, je regrette rien, I regret nothing. I'm like, are you a psychopath? I regret what I eat for breakfast every day. How do you regret? How do you literally regret nothing? This is remarkable. I want your sociopathic brain. So I indulge too much. I'm like, oh, why did I say that? I have things in my brain pop up, Nick, from like high school. I'm like, I made a joke about my friend one day. Why did I say that? That was so stupid. And like my wife says, like, you beat yourself up too much. So I'm my worst enemy, my wife says, and I actually have real life enemies. So it's one of those things where I hyper reflect and I think about how to get better, and I try to see from a lens of uh I used to beat myself up too much, which was bad masculinity, which was dumb masculinity. And I realized that wasn't helping me. In the last, I would say, 10 years of my life, I've shifted over to a more healthy, responsible audit where instead of just beating myself up all the time and self-flagellating, which actually does not help any type of growth, I take humble pride in the stuff that I've done. So I'm like, yeah, man, I pulled it off. Yeah, my kids like me. Yeah, okay, on this, I've been good. Okay, I can improve here. And that's the balance that I take. And I say this because I want the opposite extreme. And if you're like that and you self-flagellate, let me tell you, you beat yourself up so much you can't even get up. And you do yourself no service. And then I realized what I thought was helping me become a better person was actually hurting me. And goes back to the intelligent masculinity aspect that it's not just you, it's what impact your actions have upon your kids and your life. So if I'm always exhausted and I'm feeling down on myself, that's not a healthy model. So how do you balance humble swagger with humility, self-reflection, but also then some humble boasting? And that, I think, is a healthy model that shows that confident, light, firm, but also fluid and able to change.
I love that. I love that, Waj. Thanks for that really, really thoughtful answer around how you self-reflect and how you use it as a positive tool for yourself. Take from that, men, take from that and reflect and ask yourself in a positive way, because you matter. And this is where it comes, the heart of it is you matter, and you matter just for existing. So give yourself some credit for that. And then ask yourself, did I do okay today? And if you didn't think you did, don't beat yourself up. Just learn from it and grow. So another thing we say around here is, now you know, so you can grow. And so now you know, grow from it, learn from it. Don't beat yourself up. And that we can't use self-reflection as a tool for self-destruction. We're getting short on time, so we're going to get to our lightning round of questions. These questions, like I said, going to repreface them. These are from the chorus of Mulan's song, I'll Make a Man Out of You. It's the clarion call for men. It's the Let's Go Girls for boys. And it's got a lot of fun in it. So 4 questions out of this from our choir line and our chorus line is, what does it mean to you to be as swift as a coursing river?
I'll be, emotionally intelligent, having the tools in my toolbox to respond to the moment, and to employ the right tool correctly. So if that means be loving, and that means being disciplined, be disciplined, but not to be cruel, but to teach our kids a lesson, being passionate, what's necessary, being angry, but without losing my temper, fast, being emotionally quick.
Love it. Great answer. Thanks, Waj. Next question. How do you embody the force of a great typhoon?
Ooh, the force of a great typhoon. Presence. Just be present. I think be present. If you're present for your kids, you're present for your wife, if you're aware, the presence of an intelligent, aware person who can be counted upon, you become a great typhoon that is not destructive.
Love it. Also love it. Next question, similar but not the same. How are you as strong as a raging fire?
See, okay, raging fire, man. That fire is raging, right? So that means you have the courage of your convictions. What do you stand for? What are your values? What are you willing to die for? And I think if you're, if your spouse and your children see that, like, this man stands for something, this man has an ethical guideline, that man will go to bat for, I don't know, the marginalized. That man will go to bat for the poor people. That man will go to bat for his faith, for his country, right? Oh, he's not just like this apathetic slob who's just meandering through life. That, to me, I think is intelligent and I think attractive masculinity to a lot of people.
I like the attractive masculinity that you added there. I think it is attractive. It brings people to you. You get more people with near and around you if you exude positive masculinity. You don't look like a shriveled up penis like Stephen Miller, who's a grumpy, hateful gremlin,
I agree with
and nobody likes him because he's evil.
and
Because
hate makes them ugly. It literally look
yes, it
look at
does.
the
Yeah.
women. Look at Caroline Levitt and Christy Nome and Stephen Miller. Like hate literally
Michael Cohen's new co-host, Laura Loomer, like she changed. Like that lady doesn't look like she used to. There's a lot of plastic there. I want to go down that rabbit hole eventually with you, because Laura Loomer is a fucking asshole. Like
broken
one
woman,
of the worst. But anyway, not part of our discussion today. Final question of the interview. Yes, Uncle Nick is busy. Just give me a second, dude, and try not to pull out all the cables under my computer. Final question of our interview today is: how are you as mysterious as the dark side of the moon?
I'm a Scorpio. So I'm a Scorpio through and through. And one of the things that I'm working on, which is a weakness of mine, despite everything I've told you all for the past hour, I still have this weakness and I'm self-aware, is I keep everything inside. I don't like, if God forbid a doctor told me, watch, you have a rare disease, bro, you're dead in 30 days. I would literally tell no one. And then the day before I was about to die, I'd like schedule a Substack. Hey guys, I'm dead. And then you could read about it. I wrote a book and I'll tell everything in the book. So, and I remember my friend said one time, which was a compliment and a diss. They said, what, bro, this is when I was in my 20s. He goes, bro, you could like literally come out as a 32-year-old married man with 3 kids who works for the CIA. We'd kind of believe you. Like, I mean, it's one of those things where sadly, it's something that I've been working on. Like I keep things really, I don't want to burden anyone. I keep things very private. I'm very public, but then there are things where my friends are like, man, I was with you for 20 years. I had no idea you went through that. I wrote about it in my book. They were shocked. They were like, really? What? So it's something that is unhealthy. And it's reflective of just the way we were built, but something that I'm trying to work on. It's going to take a lot of work, man. I'm just built that way, but I have to rejigger it.
It takes a while. I understand, because I do the same, but some things are worth holding back, and keeping separate. And then final question, and this is less of a question, but more of a chance for you. Something I got from you too is the promote yourself shamelessly and plug what you do and the work you do. I like supporting my friends too. But Waj, this has been so incredibly fun. How can people find you and support your work as we get the piano going in the background?
I love it, man. My favorite part was just the kids chilling in the back. And I think, in all seriousness, you see this around the world, like Europe and the Middle East, like there's kids everywhere. Like you'll go to nice restaurants, people bring their kids. I remember there was a European couple. We were visiting New York, and my son was just like a cute little baby at that time. He was like 1. And this European, I could tell from the accent, they came and they just saw Ibu playing. They literally just picked him up and like, oh, baby. And then they just gave him, like, in America, we're like, mothers, how dare you? Oh my God, your kid is crying. Like the way we just judge people and look at them, we're like, ugh, it's so unhealthy. So I think the more we normalize just kids being kids, and like moms like trying their best to like hold on to kids, and dads trying to like discipline kids, it's normal. I think that's intelligent masculinity. That's number one. So I love it. Also, yes, the left hook, you did it better for me. The lefthook.substack.com. It's where my platform that I use. I'm also on the Blue Sky, still on the Twitter because I go after the Nazis, Reds, and I have the YouTube channel at Wajahat Ali, and it's all free.
Thanks, Waj. I appreciate it.
The kid wants you.
Yeah, and I'm going to go jump off. I'm going to go hang out with the nephew. This has been really wonderful, Waj. Thank you for all the time today, and discussing with us and talking about masculinity and your experiences. Everyone in the audience who's either with us on Substack, YouTube, or Twitch, please hit the subscribe button. If you can, scan the QR code. There's a QR code at the top if you want to go to the Sick of This shop and get your own merch, because men, we just need to suck less.
Absolutely.
And Waj, thanks again. Have a great day. Everyone have a wonderful afternoon, and I'll see you tomorrow for another episode of Intelligent Masculinity with Ken Harbaugh. So Waj, have a great day. Thanks again, and see y'all later.
Later, guys.